is where MAGA comes to talk. We got a lot to cover today. We'll be live in less than a minute. And man, oh man, things are getting down to it now. Less than a minute. I got a new mic I'm using today. I got a new wireless mic that I'm using. So you guys can let me know how the mic works. Now, we're going to talk about what's going on with Trump and Vivek Ramaswamy and a whole bunch of other things going on. I also put something up in the community post here on YouTube, which I may talk about. Other things going on. I also put something up. Yeah, so I got this new wireless mic. Here we go. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. All right, welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio. Man, oh man, we've got a lot to cover today. It still blows me away that Christmas week, New Year's week, that there is so much new and breaking news to cover. It blows me away. And I want to first talk about what's about to happen with Donald Trump and Vivek Ramaswamy. And this is going to be the beginning of the dominoes falling in the Republican primary. Now, Ramaswamy, when Colorado and that court ruled about taking Trump off the ballot, Vivek Ramaswamy didn't waste a minute before he made a video, posted it up on social media, saying that if Trump is not on the ballot, he will be taking his name off the ballot in Colorado. Of course, Ron DeSantis wouldn't make that pledge. He says, I'm trying to get delegates. It's easier for me to get delegates because Ron DeSantis is a creep and a liar, and he cannot be trusted. But Vivek Ramaswamy immediately made a move to pledge that he would remove himself from the Colorado ballot if Trump is not on it. And that's a pretty big move. Now, a news story, Vivek Ramaswamy and his campaign, which is self-funded by him. He's his largest donor. He's a billionaire. Vivek Ramaswamy has cut all ad spending in both Iowa and New Hampshire. Listen to this. This is in Mediaite. Vivek Ramaswamy has stopped all television ad buys in Iowa and New Hampshire, has none scheduled between now and the Iowa caucus and the primary in those states respectively. January 15th is the Iowa caucus. New Hampshire's primary is January 23rd. NBC reported the halt in TV spending, citing Ramaswamy's campaign data from an ad tracking company. As recently as the first full week of December, he spent more than $200,000 on television ads. Last week, he just spent $6,000 on ads, all of it on TV. The Ramaswamy campaign said it's reaching out to voters in Iowa and other means, not blah, blah, blah. So he's pulled out. He said he'll take himself off the ballot in Colorado. He's all but suspended his campaign, Ramaswamy, in Iowa and New Hampshire, which, you know, and it's not like Ron DeSantis, whose campaign is canceling ads because he's lost donors and he has no money. Ramaswamy is self-funding his campaign. As I said, he's his biggest donor. So far as I know, he's his biggest donor. I'm pretty sure of that. So he is personally canceling the ad buys, not having funding dry up like Ron DeSantis has had. And then there was this exchange going on Truth Social with President Trump. Now, the last debate the Republicans had was on News Nation, okay? This is also in Mediaite. Following News Nation's GOP primary debate, Trump, who skipped the event, hailed Ramaswamy as the winner of the debate. Well, the real winner was Donald Trump, but if second place finish. Of those on stage, he was in first place, no doubt about it. He cleaned their clocks and humiliated both Nikki Haley and Kiki Boots Ron DeSantis. Trump posted this to Truth Social. Bird Brain looked different and lost. but I give her second place. Bird brain, that's Nikki Haley. Vivek wins because he thinks I'm great. That's what President Trump posted on Truth Social after the News Nation debate. After the Colorado Supreme Court barred Trump from the state's ballot, Ramaswamy released a video calling on all Republican presidential candidates to withdraw from the ballot in solidarity with Trump. Ramaswamy defended his decision to halt television commercial spending in Iowa and New Hampshire on Tuesday. He wrote, we're doing it differently, he says, blah, blah, blah. And Trump said, went on and said, I am sure he will endorse me. Trump said he is sure that Vivek Ramaswamy will endorse him. And Ramaswamy is very tight with a couple of people that are very close to Donald Trump. Charlie Kirk and Laura Loomer. Okay, Charlie Kirk and Laura Loomer are really tight with Vivek Ramaswamy. And when Trump says, I'm sure he will endorse me, this is, I believe, a communication from Ramaswamy to Donald Trump, either through Loomer or Charlie Kirk, that he is going to endorse him. And this is going to start to fall apart, the Republican primary now, which really should not even be happening. There should be one candidate, Donald Trump. These other ones should have been out of it a long time ago. And so the endorsement of President Trump by Vivek Ramaswamy is coming. It is coming soon. It's going to be very high profile. And let me tell you, it's an important endorsement because regardless of the background of Ramaswamy and what I think of Ramaswamy, among the youngest of eligible voters, he's a rock star. When I saw him at Turning Point USA, I mean, I couldn't believe how excited these high school and college kids got over Vivek Ramaswamy. And, you know, a lot of those high school kids, they're going to be old enough to vote in November. So they're important. You know, usually don't care what teenagers think too much, but they're important. And one of the reasons that we, when I say we, I mean Republicans, don't typically care what the youngest of voters think is because the young voting bloc has been a very comfortable Democrat constituency forever, for the most part, forever. And Donald Trump's very popular among young people. Vivek Ramaswamy is hugely popular among young people. And that's going to help not just Trump, but it's going to help us in a lot of congressional races too. So I am taking what we are seeing, and I think you're getting in on the ground floor on this one. We are seeing the beginning of Vivek Ramaswamy's official endorsement for President Trump. And you know, Ramaswamy, much like Donald Trump, he knows how to use the media in ways that others don't. Okay? He knows how to use social media. He knows how to manipulate television media, et cetera, et cetera. And it's only really a question of when he does it. It'll have some major timing impact. Now, question is, will Vivek Ramaswamy come out and have a press conference before or after the Iowa caucus endorsing Trump? And when he endorses Trump, will he do it with President Trump? What I mean is, will Vivek Ramaswamy go to a Trump speech or a Trump rally? Trump's going to be doing some major campaigning in Iowa and New Hampshire right after the first next month, because we've got both the caucus and the primary next month. Is Ramaswamy going to go to a Trump speech or rally in Iowa and endorse him before the Iowa caucus? What are your thoughts on that? Our number's toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. It's Wednesday, December 27th. We're here live, of course, and we'll be all week long. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. My name is Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. Back after this. Hey, guys, welcome. If you're new, subscribe. And, of course, like the video as well. We got a lot more to cover. What do you guys think? Will Ramaswamy have an official press conference before or after? What do you guys think? Will Ramaswamy have an official press conference? Now, the wireless mic, I don't know how long it'll last, if it'll last the whole 3 hours. So I have two of them that fit on it. So if this one goes dead before the end of the show, I'll just switch them out. But they're definitely, at this point, they are working together. Now, question is, will Ron DeSantis endorse Trump when he drops out? Now, I hope you guys take a look at this. I'm going to talk about this when we get back, but I posted the picture, 2 photographs of my wife's cross on my YouTube community page right before I went live today. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit when I get back, but I'm curious if you guys would look at that and let me know your thoughts on it. It is absolutely amazing to me. I don't know if you guys have seen that cross, but it just blew me away, that cross of my wife's. I don't know if you guys have seen that cross, but it just blew. We'll be back shortly. We'll continue. Okay, hold on. I have so many texts I have to go through here. There we go. All right. All right. Just getting organized here. Oh, man. Here we go. We're back.
Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world.
All right, welcome back. 18 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's Wednesday morning. So will Vivek Ramaswamy and Trump obviously at this point are working together. Vivek Ramaswamy is at this point an unofficial Trump surrogate who is about to officially announce his endorsement of President Trump. There's no doubt about it. Now, when Ron DeSantis drops out, what is he going to do? Is he going to endorse Trump? And what about Nikki Haley when she eventually drops out? Will Ron DeSantis, when he drops out, because he'll be the second one of those few after Ramaswamy because his campaign's out of money, when Ron DeSantis drops out, I mean, we already know Vivek Ramaswamy is about to officially endorse Donald Trump. That's a fact. President Trump said so. DeSantis is going to be the next major one to drop out. I don't count Chris Christie and all those guys. What will Ron DeSantis do when he drops out? Will he endorse Trump or Nikki Haley? Or no one? And what about Nikki Haley? What will she do? Now, listen, guys, this is the countdown to a new year, and you want to start the new year without pain, just like me. I used to be in all kinds of pain. Now I am pain-free. You want to start the new year without pain, and you can do that with Dr. Appleton and his laser away pain treatment. Bring in the new year pain-free. Start the new year happy, without pain. You'll be rid of your pain without pills, without injections. No side effects, by the way. That's an important thing. No side effects. My goodness. Any medication you take, there's a side effect. Addiction, tired, something. There's a side effect to everything. Bleeding, you know, those things, people take things for pain, causes their stomach to bleed. Oh, that's great. With the laser away pain treatment with Dr. Appleton, there are none when it comes to side effects, and also no downtime. And you know what? It works. If you have someone in your family that's suffering with pain, give them the gift of a pain-free life and take them to see Dr. Appleton. Walk-ins are welcome and appointments are not necessary, even on Saturdays. You can find Dr. Appleton online at AppletonChiro.com or give him a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Start the new year pain-free. Call Dr. Appleton. Take advantage of his laser-away pain treatment and say bye-bye to your pain in the new year. Okay, so we've got this going on with the presidential race, which is huge. I mean, this is just amazing. And remember, I've been telling you guys that when these people start dropping off and Trump starts bringing them into the fold, we have to forget about all these things of the past. Once Ramaswamy endorses Trump and is part of the campaign, he's one of us. And I will cease attacks on him. And I won't you will not hear me doing endless disclaimers. Well, even though he has the Soros, that's all going to be gone and forgotten for the time being, because we're trying to save not just our country, but our civilization as we know it. And if Trump is not back in 2024, our civilization is over. Might as well just start the clock. What's going on at the southern border is insane. It's insane. And it's so commonplace what's happening down there that it's all, I know a lot of people think it's old news and don't want to talk about. Carrie Lake has seen video of the cartels actually cutting away parts of the wall, the Great Wall of Trump. Where's the Border Patrol? You know what kind of process that is? This latest caravan, which yesterday was at 6,000, this morning it's being reported at 8,000. This is just the latest caravan. There's many that have been coming. But it's being reported that it's having a snowball effect, right? I remember when I lived up north, we had snow. We don't have that in Florida, but, we get a little snowball and we would roll it around the yard and it'd get bigger and bigger. That's what's happening with this caravan of illegals. It was 5,000 the other day, 6,000 yesterday, 8,000 today, and it's being reported that by the time it reaches the southern border, it's going to be 15,000. And that's only one. There's many others. There's some before, there's some after, there's new ones being formed and organized. This is not migration, this is an invasion. And what's going on in this country, if you don't accept the Great Replacement Theory as reality now, you're either lying to yourself or you're just not paying attention. The Democrats, have just sold out. They're all on the take. I was watching this new Netflix documentary series on the Second World War. It's very good. They have footage from World War II that has been remastered and repaired and everything using modern technology, and it's like the most HD footage you've ever seen of the Second World War. And a couple things about that. Everyone who sacrificed in the Second World War, or any of the wars for freedom that this country's been involved in, their sacrifices will be in vain once we're taken over by Latin America. And, the Latin America, I've been to Latin America, different parts of it many times, and it's corrupt third world pits of hell. The worst I've seen is I don't know, about 10 years. Oh gosh, it's been longer than that. More than 10 years ago. I guess it's been like over 15 years ago. A friend of mine, he's Cuban American. He was born here, but his family's from Cuba, and they came to America like in the 50s and in the 40s and stuff like that. And he speaks fluent Spanish, and he had it in his mind. He's older than I am. Okay, and he was going to retire. And he had it in his mind that he was going to retire in Latin America because he could live like a king with much less money, he lived here. By the way, he's retired now up in Jacksonville, okay? And he traveled around to different countries in Latin America trying to find a place to live. And he took me to Peru. And I went to Peru, and I didn't just go to the tourist areas of Peru like there are any. I mean, we went out in the middle of nowhere in Peru. We went out in the deserts, saw the Nazca lines and all of that. And it is a scary third world pit of hell. And I couldn't wait to get back. And the only times I've returned to Latin America is on our cruises, and we're just kind of on the shore, kind of in the tourist areas. You know, that's bad enough. You get outside those little tourist areas, forget about it. And I realized when I went to Peru that, and South America has, if you're on hold, standby, South America has all the resources we have in America. But Latin American culture, I know this would be offensive to some people, but you know, the last thing you want to do when you're doing a radio show is be offensive to people, right? Latin American culture is a culture of corruption. That's just the way it is. It's a culture of corruption, and it always will be that. And, you know, the problem, you know, America is the most diverse country on the planet, not just skin color, but everything else. Any type of diversity you could come up with on a list, we got it here. And that's a good thing. And diversity is great so long as you don't lose the American culture. And all my life, I used to hear when I was younger that by the year 2000, they always move the year up. By the year 2030, Hispanics will be the majority in this country. I used to hear that a lot in the 80s and 90s. They move it back. They move it back. Well, it's happening now. The problem isn't that the country will be less white. That's not the problem at all. I mean, you know, having one child who's black, who's engaged to a Mexican American, I'm not trying to keep America white. I'm doing actually the opposite. You know, my white family line will end with me, and that's fine. It's not that the country is becoming less white. The replacement theory and people that are concerned about it, that's not their concern. It's not that the country is becoming less white. It's becoming less American, right? They're not becoming Americanized. They're not in, and there's nowhere that, you know, there's only one place in Latin America that is not a third world pit of hell. You know what that is? What part in all of Latin America is not a third world pit of hell? You know what it is? There's only one place, Puerto Rico. And that's barely Latin America because that's more like the Caribbean. But Puerto Rico is the only Latin American place that's not a third world pit of hell. And why is that? It's because, well, we took it from the Spaniards and the Spanish-American War. We never gave it back, and it's part of America. But the rest of Latin America is dangerous. It's corrupt. It's run by drug cartels and other criminals. And what's happening is they're bringing that culture to this country. Right now, if you're on hold, standby. I'm late for the break, but I'll finish this, then we'll break. If you right now are driving on the Florida Turnpike and you stop at any rest stop on the Florida Turnpike and you go into the men's room, I'm sure they have this in the ladies' room too, but they have signs in English and Spanish. If you are being trafficked, if you're a victim of human trafficking, call this number or go to somebody here. There's help. Because I guess when they're trafficking their slaves, they have to stop so they can pee on the turnpike too, you know. And that's scary. You know, there is an entire slave culture going on in this country. Take a drive around Lake Okeechobee and see how the farm workers live. It's never been good. There's a new slave culture going on in this country, and it's sex workers, but it's also labor workers and child labor. There's a lot of other problems going on too, okay? But we're losing our American culture and identity with this mass invasion that's going on at the southern border by the design of Joe Biden and the Democrats. Now, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be back, all right? Don't go anywhere.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love.
Wow. All right. How do you guys like the new mic? How's it? How's the new mic doing? All right. How do you guys like the new mic? How's it? How's the new mic? It's got noise canceling in it, so the computer fan you will not be able to hear like you normally would. All right. Awesome. Now, have you guys taken a look at the cross of my wife's that I posted? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on that. I am going to bring that up on the program. And I'd like to get some calls on that too. Oh, this room was that color long before. The whole radio station is painted in like these pastel colors. It's like Florida colors, like Miami colors. The whole radio station is painted that way. Now, what are you guys' thoughts on that, on the cross? It blew me away. It's on the community post here on my YouTube channel. Illusion. We tried to redo it and have not been able to replicate it. I didn't. I just put it up here on YouTube. I'll put it on my other socials. I just haven't had time yet. I did it right before I went on the air. The mic's too close. I can move it down a little bit. When you get a new mic, you got to adjust it. All right, you can let me know. I moved it down just a little bit. You guys can let me know in this segment how it sounds. Exactly. Well, when you get a new mic, you got to kind of get the placement. So usually you want, like, on a mic, you want a placement kind of like this, thumb to your pinky from your mouth, that's about where it is now. If you're ever looking to gauge a mic, that's how you normally do it. Now, with these kind of mics, I talk a little closer to, but with this kind of mic, you want to kind of have from there to there distancing. Little broadcasting secret. JP, what are you talking about? The cross? That just blew me away. The cross just blew me away. Kathy showed that to me yesterday. I was like, wow. All right. We'll be back after this.
And Craig, celebrating 46 years on the...
All right, our number 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. If you're just tuning in, you've missed a lot. I'm not going to do any recapping now. I'll take a couple calls, and then I got a lot more to bring up. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie. Happy New Year to you.
Hey, Richie.
Yeah. Do you know? I'm not an expert on where places are. Do you know where Seagal is?
Not exactly offhand. No, I'd have to look that up. I really would. I probably could not find it on a map too easily.
Get crazy. They only get crazier. They have travel agencies out of Seagal that are actually working with the cartels. Listen to this one. That are flying people over from, I believe it's Africa. I think that's where, flying people over to certain countries in South America and then hooking them up with instructions and bus lines, dropping them off at the border.
Yeah, in fact, yesterday, maps and directions were released that show like safe houses. Like if you're illegal, where it's like the days of the Underground Railroad, you know. And they got it's like travel, and they show you all the safe places where you can stay and everything on your route to illegally come to America. Absolutely.
Travel agencies, Frank.
Yeah.
Don't realize how sick this is. I mean, this is like.
And by the way, you know, just for credibility, you know, because I don't want people to think that, you know, Richie and I are racist. It's not that, you know, Richie, you know, I talk about my family, my interracial family, that I have ended the white line of Craig's. Richie's wife is Venezuelan. So we're not against immigration. We're certainly not against non-white people. We take part in spreading non-whiteness, right? But, you know, what's going on here, what my concern is, Richie, I mean, you're older than me. You're closer to the end of life than I am, but maybe within my lifetime, or certainly in my grandchildren's lifetime, this country will no longer be the country that it is. And you know, well, it's still savable, you know. You know Latin America as well as any other American. The entire culture is a culture of corruption.
Well, that's true, but there are countries that are trying to succeed, and there are modern countries like Buenos Aires and Venezuela, in Argentina. Brazil is a armpit. Okay, you have different bureaucracies right
now.
But
what's going to happen in 20 years when our House of Representatives and our Senate is dominated by Muslims like Tlaib? And, you know, we see all these Muslims around the country. I mean, dominated, the majority, and Latin American first-generation anchor babies that'll be in Congress. I mean, what's our country going to be like then?
Well, I can tell you just now, 2024 was coming. I mean, we pray to God Trump gets in to try to save what's savable in this country. But there's already warnings out in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
They're so concerned about terror attacks and with the Palestinian protests, disrupting with alcohol, disrupting everything.
You know, if Bin Laden were alive, he would be like, we took New York. It took a while, but we took New York.
They tried. You had it yesterday in your show. They tried to stop Christmas. They literally try to stop Christmas with protests. This is going to be with alcohol and everything else. You know, you call it the resistance. When people are not under the influence of alcohol, they'll shut up. But if they see some of these creeps in the streets protesting, and their alcohol's up, all hell could break loose.
Yeah.
There aren't enough police in New York to stop it. I mean, this is going to be a new year. So I'm saying this country is totally shut.
I think I would imagine the police in New York, it's not that they can't stop it, they can't, but they're not even going to try. I think the police are afraid.
It's going to be the biggest New Year's riot that you've ever seen in your life. I hate to predict that, but you just...
Well, let's hope not.
It doesn't look good. What did we let into this country already, man? I mean, it's like ridiculous. You remember the plane leaving Afghanistan where everyone's hanging out on the...
Yeah, that's going to be America. That's going to be New York.
They were not vetted. None of these people are being vetted. They're being shipped up by travel agencies from Africa. I mean, it's just insanity on steroids.
Well, this is not the southern border of the United States has always been an issue. There's never been a time where we haven't had problems with illegals. But what's going on now, it's become an industry, is what Richie's talking about. It's become an organized major industry, and it's without doubt an attack, an invasion of this country.
Absolutely. When you start seeing when you start seeing legitimate businesses hooking up with drug cartels and blatantly just hiring bus companies out of Mexico to drop people off with instructions on how to get into this country, you know something's really wrong.
Yeah,
ignoring it in Washington.
Yeah, and you see there's this interview they're playing on Fox, and it's elsewhere too. It's translated where the guy's demanding Biden let him in and all this stuff. I mean, who the hell does he think he is? Demanding.
When he got elected, the day he got sworn in, he told the country the biggest problem we have here is white supremacy and MAGA. I mean, and they had the Biden T-shirts coming up from all over the world.
No, this is scary, you know. And I usually when things go on in politics, I don't get worried too much because things typically are in a cycle. And you overcome them, you know, like the 60s Vietnam protest era and all that. Things go through a cycle. Like look at the BLM, that they're violent, that thing. But this isn't a cycle. This is when you see an industry pop up, and you got the cartels, you got these travel things. When you see what's going on, and you see the different nations they're from around the world. I think you were talking about Senegal, and Senegal is the action star. But you know, I'd have to look for that too. I couldn't find that exactly on the map too quick either. Who cares about Senegal? But they're coming here. You know, I mean, when you look at the countries they're coming from at the southern border, it's and don't buy this climate refugees. Don't buy this political refugees. It's not our problem.
There and these travel agencies are advertising to the people of these countries. Come by it. We'll take care of you. We'll set you up.
I don't know. It is. All right. Take care, Richie. Yeah, we are in a new era that we've never been in before. Now, I want to tell you guys that if you want to sleep like you've never slept before, go to mypillow.com. Use our promo code Kane at checkout and get just amazing savings on so many great My Pillow products. I was talking about the huge savings last week on the down comforters and blankets. Here we are in the wintertime. You can save 60% off comforters and blankets with our promo code Kane at checkout. They'll keep you warm during the winter and cool during the summer. The My Pillow sheets. We just got new My Pillow sheets for our guest bed. We got the Percow sheets because I wanted to try those because all the other sheets we have are the Giza cotton sheets. We wanted to try the new Percow sheets, and those are just $24.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout. Kane. The My Pillow 2.0 with cooling technology, so that your head, your face, your neck never get hot, never get warm at night. You'll never turn the pillow over again looking for the cool side. Those are just $39.98, 50% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. There's all kinds of other great specials too, and the Christmas specials are still available there. You can also order by phone 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth.
All right.
Share with some intelligence for your retirement this time. When you're looking for a retirement advisor, you don't trust and experience our big volume.
If you're on hold, hang in there. Get to the calls in a minute.
When you're in retirement or looking to retire, we want you to get local experts to account. 561-743-0999 or go to twitterjoe.com. My name's John Tesh. You'll receive a free copy of Joe's book, Retirement Know-It-All. Great book. Call 561-743-0999 or remember, go to twitterjoe.com. That's twitterjoe.com.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
Often people want to say, why are you talking about the border crisis? Or why are you talking about it in this way? Well, we're talking about it. They just don't like how we're talking about it. Because it's not a border crisis. It's an imperialism crisis. It's a climate crisis. It's a trade crisis. This is not a surge. These are children. And they are not insurgents. And we are not being invaded. Which, by the way, is a white supremacist idea, philosophy.
Wow. Invasion is a white supremacist. So no other nation feels they've been invaded before, only white nations? You know, the thing about liberal race pimps and pimpettes like her, that everything's racist to them. Everything. She throws everything at the wall, though, right? Racism, climate. She's throwing everything out there. It's all of these things. Really. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Bill from Sanford.
Hey. All right, Bill. What's up?
Well, you know, what irritates me is not only does America violate federal law, let these people in, what about these airlines that let these illegals get on their planes? We, you and I and everybody else has to provide ID, go through TSA in order to get on. They took away a little Swiss Army knife, the smallest one they got that has a 1-inch blade that doesn't even work.
You know, there's watching there's this show on television about Amish girls, you know, that are leaving these Amish girls, they go to the airport. They wouldn't let them board the plane because as Amish, they got no state issued photo ID, you know, and these illegals get on the plane. How's that safe? You don't know who they are.
What? I mean, they have no control that they're being forced to. I'm guessing they're being forced to. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. There's probably something to do with that. If they refuse the federal government, they'll come after them. But I remember when now it used to be you didn't need ID. Remember people would sell their airline tickets if they didn't use them and stuff to other people. But since 9/11, security to get on airplanes is incredibly intense, and you have to be vetted. You have to have ID. They do security checks. But these illegals that they know nothing about, by the way, they most of them don't even have basic vaccinations, which means they could be carrying God knows what. They let them on these small aircraft with no. That's not with regular people. That's not safe.
Does that come under the Secretary of Transportation? The airlines?
It's a mix. I think it's between the airlines and Homeland Security. I think because TSA is Homeland Security, isn't it?
Violate all these federal regulations. I'll guarantee you that in the days, border guards that purposely got paid to let illegals in were prosecuted. And now nobody gets.
If I got on a plane and it was filled with illegals, I'd get off and ask for a ticket on another flight because I wouldn't feel safe on a plane in the post 9/11 era with people on it that they have no idea who they are, especially when I keep reading stories about people on the terror watch list being stopped at the border. How many are not being stopped that are on the terror watch list?
It's disgusting, and it's
well. Let me ask you, because see that I'm thinking more long term than Mayorkas is going down there to talk to. All Mayorkas is doing, negotiating, making their trip to America easier. That's all he's doing. But I'm afraid that there are so many coming here that we know nothing about, that are not being Americanized. They're having babies, everything else. Our country is going to fall. The country as we know it is not going to exist in 20 years, maybe less.
Well, back in the day when these immigrants were coming over here, some of them were coming in with $10 in their pocket, 50, maybe even 100. That's all they have. Now they get a $5,000.
Well, and the other waves of mass immigration from Europe in particular, because that's the one they really hate, the European. By the way, Hispanics are descendant of European immigrants too, stupid, AOC, if you're listening. And AOC, Ocasio-Cortez, she's a descendant of one of a Hitler, right? Cortez, the conquistadors, who killed how many native South American Indians? But anyway, back in the days of mass immigration from Europe, there was no social welfare net. They didn't even have public school. You had to come over here. If you wanted to eat, you had to work. Now people are coming here to retire.
And some of them they bring their parents over and they get Social Security, and they
get. Let me tell you, there are illegals who come here. They get Medicare because of their age. They get Medicare. They haven't paid 1 cent into it, and that's crazy.
And we have to pay in. We have to pay for everything. Pay for everything.
And I don't even have insurance. I have no health insurance. I have not had health insurance since Obamacare wrecked it. I have no health insurance. And the illegal, they come over here, they got full medical for their whole family. Yeah, I mean, you know how much I pay a year for my daughter's health insurance? My goodness.
Oh, that probably costs a bundle.
Yeah.
I don't know how you make it.
Yeah, call later when Steve's here and talk to him. You can ask him that question. All right, appreciate the call. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, Brian.
Hey, Jeff.
The liberals, deep state rhinos, they've been trying to destroy this country in every way possible. And they hate that Constitution because if they are held accountable to that, so many of them would be in prison. And these illegals, they're putting them in the red states where They think it's close. They think it's.
Well, they're thinking more long term. You know, look. If you go to okay, Talib, who's the other one that's from Somalia? Who's the other squadette that's from Talib? And I can't remember her name now. But you know, you go to the town she's in. I mean, they do they have the call to Omar, Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar. You go to her country. I mean, her district. You would think you're in Somalia. They got the call to prayer 5 times a day going on out loud and everything else. You know, and look at what's happened. You know, it's not immigration; it's illegal immigration. This is an invasion. It's an invasion that's being organized by China, and they're using the drug cartels to facilitate it. But this is China. You know, I was talking about this new World War II documentary that I'm watching on Netflix, where they have all these remastered films, which are, you've never seen World War II in 4K before. It's really crazy. But Hitler was trying to take over Europe with Panzers and planes and V1s and V2s and all this stuff. All he needed to do was start to become a donor to the politicians in those other countries and just have people move there. And he would have taken over all of Europe without any tanks or planes or V1s, you know? And that's what's going on here. This isn't a Cold War. This is a hot war. This is the most sophisticated, clever invasion of a nation in the history of humanity being done by China against China wants to be the #1 power in the world. To do that, they've got to bring us down, and they're doing it in many ways, but in large part, they're doing it at the southern border.
And if it hadn't been for President Donald J. Trump, all of this we'd have never known about. It all started in 2015 when he started running for president.
Yeah. Who's a greater threat to the United States? Right? Islamic terrorism or the drug cartels? Well, that's not on my list of questions. That's not on the list. The Islamic terrorism or the drug cartels? I would say the cartels. You know, I mean, we should be not only shutting down the border, we should cut off all U.S. aid to all Latin American countries until this is stopped and they take them all back.
Finish that wall once and for all.
Yeah. And as I said earlier, Carrie Lake said she's seen video of the cartels cutting down parts of the wall.
And Biden was selling stuff, material left by Trump to finish the wall.
That's exactly right.
How did he get away with that?
Yeah, exactly. All right, Jeff, I appreciate the call. Scary times, people. Very, very scary times. Now, listen, it has been raining. It's been raining like crazy. If you've got a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof. And if you don't take care of that tiny little leak, it's going to turn into a big leak at some point. And you want to call Tom Laporta now, because not only will he not sell you a roof you do not need, if you need just a simple repair, he'll do it. Tom Laporta works on every type of structure: single-family homes, HOAs, apartment buildings, condos, municipal buildings, office buildings, and he works with every type of roofing material. Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting also covers the entire state of Florida, the east and west coast of Florida, and everywhere in between. He does great work. I've seen the work that he's done on Steve Kane's house and some of our listeners. And I in fact, when we were at Wings Plus, I talked to 2 listeners who had roofs done with Tom Laporta, and they were so impressed by the quality of work as well as the pricing. They're just singing his praises, which is good to hear. You can find Tom by calling his cell phone, all right? And this number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. Ask him about the Trump roof. He has the tiles that they use on Mar-a-Lago, which are very exclusive tiles. You can turn your entire roof into a Mar-a-Lago Trump roof. Just ask him about that, too. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. Calls on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. We'll be back after our top of the hour break with your calls and much more. Don't go anywhere.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic.
All right. Now, guys, if you'd like to support the show, a great way to do that is to become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description to become a Patreon supporter. There's also a link on my website, briancraigshow.com. And if you're a Patreon supporter, you get access to a lot of exclusive things that I don't post anywhere else. My wife and I post a lot of things to our Patreon page that only Patreon supporters have access to, including commercial-free editions of each and every one of my podcast episodes. So if you're a Patreon supporter, you get access to commercial-free editions to our podcast, and you get to hear it first, too, because I upload it right there, commercial-free, when we finish the podcast. And our top Patreon supporters get a live thank you. And also, top Patreon supporters, your names are listed in the description of every one of my YouTube videos and every one of my podcast episodes, too. You can check right now on this video. So the names you're going to hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P., Paulette, Carlos, Maria, John, Maria in Texas, Heather, Melissa, Richard, David, and ActicFox. These are our top Patreon supporters. There's a link to the Patreon page in the description of the video, as well as on my website, briancraigshow.com. All right, guys, appreciate it. And thanks to all those Patreon supporters. All right, so when we get back, I'll take some calls. And I am going to talk about that cross because that just blew me away. And I've got some other things I want to get to as well. Let me see. Just getting organized for the next segment. Well, they're trying to destroy the United States and our dominance in the world. I mean, that's what they're doing. I mean, there's just no getting around it. Oh, yeah, Loomer's doing great stuff. Absolutely. Every day, Laura Loomer is breaking news. Every day. All right. We'll be back right after the news. Here we go. All right, call us on hold, stand by. Our number 1-888 Gil Kane 1-888-465-2631. We've covered so much today, so let's take some calls before I bring up anything new. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, hey, Doug. What's up?
Man, last night I heard something that I hard to believe, but they said that on Newsmax 60,000 illegals came into the country over the Christmas weekend.
Yes.
I mean, and mostly they say military-aged men. Mostly, there's hardly any women and children. It's mostly military.
Well, what do you think that's about? What do you think that's about? What are they doing?
Well, it's a combination of maybe they're going to try to take over our country.
Well, my guess, there's probably many reasons, but one of them is, the drug cartels, they're organized crime. And I think a lot of these young men that are coming up here that the cartels are shipping through illegally are setting up criminal operations throughout the country for the cartels in America.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. And then, just think about it. First of all, 60,000 are coming over in a weekend. That's enough to me that Joe Biden should be impeached just for that. But now, what happens to all these people coming in? They're going to get jobs. 60,000 Americans can't get jobs because all these illegals are going to get the jobs. This is really, we're letting our country fall apart if it's not falling apart already. It's really disgusting.
Let me tell you, the jobs the illegals take, it's that the restaurant industry is one area where a lot of illegals worked in the past. Okay. But if you go to restaurants, you notice they're pretty empty. With COVID, people started doing DoorDash and stuff, and they just order out from restaurants for delivery and stuff at levels they never did before. And there's not as many jobs in restaurants as there were in the past. So where are these people going to be working? They're going to be taking construction jobs, right? Jobs like that. It's very easy to be in favor of illegal immigration when they're not coming after your job.
This is something that has to be done. They're making it with so many coming in that President Trump only has 4 years. But once you get in, that's not enough time. We need President Trump to be in for.
Well, you remember Glenn Beck used to talk all the time about that Cloward and Piven strategy of radicalism. And what the Cloward Piven strategy was overwhelm the system so that it collapses. So, Trump has only one term left to him, 4 years. He's got so much to do in 4 years. It's just not enough time, and shutting down the border, finishing the wall and all that, that's a task in itself. But the deportation that he's going to have to do on a scale that's never been seen in modern civilization, and he's going to have the ACLU and these other liberal do-gooders and everything else working against him on, it's going to be a mess.
Really, these guys are plotting against America, and I can't see how this is going to be solved.
In 4 years?
No. Great job, but not going to make it, man.
It's not enough in 4 years. President Trump's it's hard to say what his most important thing is, but at the top of the list, he's got to pick a successor for 2028. And that successor may not be his vice president, okay? Vice presidents get passed over all the time. Who do we have? I don't know. It's Bongino? No, you got to Don Jr., I guess. I mean, that, but we really don't have, we thought it was going to be DeSantis. Not going to be DeSantis. I mean, he did an interview yesterday. I don't know if you guys have seen this online. He's sitting in a chair. He looks like a little boy that needs a booster seat. He sat in this chair. He sunk into it, and the microphone was too high. He looked like, that new Willy Wonka's out. He looked like an Oompa Loompa in that chair. If you see, all right, Doug, appreciate the call. Just, this guy, I'm not making fun of his height with this. I'm talking about his stupidity. If if I were Ron DeSantis or on his team, and we went into an interview, and you test out everything first. And if you're going to sink in the chair and the mic, I tweeted this picture. Hold on, where are my glasses? I can't, I hate this thing now. I got to wear reading glasses. I hate it. I'm always looking for my glasses. But you can see this on my Twitter. Let me pull it up so I can look at it as I talk about it. And Laura Loomer tweeted this. Laura Loomer's been doing really incredible work. Every day she's sharing things that are important. Yeah, DeSantis, this is on my Twitter. If you Brian Craig Show on Twitter. He's sitting in this tiny little chair. This was not an accident. I heard an interview years ago with Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, on Howard Stern's show. This was years ago. And Zuckerberg had the founders of Twitter come into his office. He wanted to buy Twitter. And Dorsey was talking about how he had all of them sit on a couch that was too small for them, so they were scrunched together. And he says it was a tactic to humiliate them, to show that dominance over them. And I'm looking at this photograph. Well, it's actually a bit of a video of Ron DeSantis in this chair. I don't know who interviewed him, but his campaign, they're stupid. He's stupid. And whoever's doing the interview had to set him up. He's in a chair that's too small, so his arms are crunched together. He sinks low into it, so his back is hunched. And the microphone is on an arm like I use here at the radio station, and it's too high, and he looks like an idiot. And someone tweeted this, and they say, DeSantis, he forgot his booster seat. And that's what it looks like. And I'm not making fun of his height or anything with this. When you want someone to be president or governor, they need to have very good judgment because they're making decisions all day. And everything about Ron DeSantis in this campaign has shown that he is an incompetent, stupid person. You look at these things, it's really bad. I would never let that happen. Never. I've done things, and because they were going to be photographed or videoed, I've said I'm not doing it. I'm not going to go through what they are because I don't want to tell you guys some things that go on, but it happens all the time. Pictures I won't take, places I wouldn't sit for pictures. I've done many things like that because those things last forever. Okay? Someone wanted to take a picture of me doing something at Wings Plus. I said no to it. I'm not going to tell you what it is, because then you'll say, "Oh, we're finding out about your insecurity." Photographs and video last forever, and you have to be very careful on what you let people take video and photographs of you. The look is important. Look at how great Trump looked in his mugshot, for example. Right? He practiced. He looked great. Ron DeSantis, you go to my Twitter, Brian Craig Show on Twitter. You look at this video of Ron DeSantis. This is a man who's too stupid and incompetent to be governor or president. I wouldn't want this guy to be president of my HOA. He's so incompetent. This is just... Was his wife with him? She let him sit in this chair and look like this? And I don't want you guys to think I have Trump or the equivalent of Trump derangement syndrome. I don't have Ron DeSantis derangement syndrome, but he's in the news right now. He's our governor. He's still campaigning with this losing quest. And you see him, and everything about his campaign has been one mess up over another. All right, we're going to take our first break of the second hour. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, 1-888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Live on air now. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Wow. Steve Kane Show. Ian, hold on. Wow.
In Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True FM.
All right. Well, we are just about 4.5 months, or is it 5? Yeah, 4.5 months or 4 months. I can't do all the math on this, but the countdown has begun. Let me put it that way. Till our 5th annual listener cruise that Steve Kane and I take each and every year with you guys. I'm very excited. This time we're going to the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. And we are going on the flagship of Celebrity Cruise Line, which is the Celebrity Beyond. And I'm very excited about this. And on the line from Cruise and Travel Depot, we have Ian, who handles all of our Steve Kane Show cruises. We've got some updates and some announcements and messages to people. Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot, I'm all excited.
I'm excited too. Good morning. Hope everyone had a great Christmas.
Yes, I'm debating. I got to buy some new clothes and everything. I'm starting to get my attire together for the cruise because it'll be here before we know it.
Got to get those Hawaiian shirts on deck.
Oh, I got plenty of Hawaiian shirts, and I got to get my fancy clothes dry cleaned and everything. I don't think I got them cleaned after the last cruise. You know what I mean? I only wear them once a year on the cruise. So what's going on now? You were telling me that there's a few cabin openings on board the ship.
Yep, absolutely. Every year, some people can't make it for family or for whatever reason. So people who are on the wait list I've been contacting, I think we've got about 5 available staterooms, concierge class, verandas, and a couple of single staterooms. Mm-hmm. Things, tips, and Wi-Fi included.
Oh, now I want to stop down on this a little bit. The concierge is what I stay in, which is very nice, and it's a roomy cabin. But what are you telling me about single cabins? Tell people about that and the benefits, because this is an unusual thing when it comes to celebrity cruises.
Absolutely. So we have a couple of people who come by themselves, which is fine because you're part of a group with a lot of people to hang out with, and they can't make it. So they've shifted to for next sailing, and those rooms have become available. They are infinite veranda rooms, and I have a couple of them.
Well, what is a single accommodation? What's that about?
Well, it's actually a standard infinite veranda room. It's not one of the singles.
Uh-huh.
It could theoretically accommodate two, but because the ship is full, people who want to come alone, I have two of those for me.
Well, that's a good deal. And you know, a lot of people do come alone, and that's okay because of our group. And you know, a couple met on our last cruise, and they're engaged to be married. They were at Wings Plus together last weekend, and they came single. They were not they did not come with a significant other, and they met, and now they're engaged. And a lot of people come alone, both men and women, because you've got us. You know, you'll never be alone with us. That's true, unless you want to be. That is true. That's true. And well, also, those of you that are already booked, you need to touch base with Ian because you got to make your final payments, and you want to make sure you're booked on our shore excursions.
Payment is now due, and shore excursions are filling up. We've got catamarans, we've got open bars, we've got beach clubs, we've got city tours, we've got it all.
Yeah, we do. And this one, we have shore excursions in every port. At one port, we have two, you know, and the most difficult part of it is these shore excursions, because every cruise, we have an amazing shore excursion, and then the next one, the expectation from people is to top the one before, and it's difficult, but we've done it again. And also, we're having dinner together every night, and we picked one dining room where we'll be every night of the cruise, all together in the same section. And were you able to block out the windows in the dining room? Because I like to sit by the window for dinner.
We have a few window tables. We're going to be dining in Normandy, but you know, not to fret. If you want to order from the other main dining rooms, menus are available for all four dining rooms.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. So call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. His number 561-244-5779. And again, those of you that are already booked, make sure you're locked in on our shore excursions. These shore excursions are exclusive to our group. This is the largest group we've ever had, and the group is larger than we expected when we set up a couple of these excursions. These excursions are going to fill up, okay? 561-244-5779. That's 561-244-5779. All right, Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. We'll talk soon.
Have a great day.
All right, take care. Take care. You know, these cruises are really amazing. I mean, we started doing them because I wanted a vacation. And when we took our first week-long cruise, my daughter was with us, and she was 20 at the time. And it was my first complete week off work since my daughter came home from the hospital when she was born. So it was my first week-long vacation in 20 years. And the only way I get vacations is if we do these cruises, and they're a lot of fun. And the people that go on them are a lot of fun too, and really cool, and just a nice group of people. So join us, call in at Cruise and Travel Depot. All right, now I want to mention something here before the bottom of the hour break. I wasn't going to bring this up on the show, but I'm going to do it. And those of you that have seen this, I'd very much like to hear your thoughts on it. I posted a photograph on my YouTube channel, 2 photographs on my YouTube channel. If you follow me on YouTube, which you all should, Brian Craig on YouTube, you really should. There's a community page where I post things there, and my wife got a cross necklace for Christmas. Her mother gave her a cross necklace for Christmas. And the reason this is, I've talked a lot. My wife had been on an IV pump for 27 years, and she just got put on a new medication, and she no longer was on this IV pump that had a tube going into her chest, taking medicine directly into her heart 24 hours a day. That's gone. And when she had this IV pump with this tube on her chest, she couldn't wear necklaces. She couldn't wear anything. And she used to wear, before she had this, a cross necklace. And then when her grandmother died, she had the cross put on her grandmother. Her grandmother was interred with the cross on. And that mausoleum in Davie, the pyramid one in Davie, And now that she no longer has this, my mother-in-law got her a cross necklace for Christmas. And this was, of course, on Monday. And Monday night, my wife took a photo of the cross to send to our daughter in California to show it to her. And when I got home yesterday after the show, my wife, she said, look at this picture. What do you see? And this is insane. I've never seen something like this before with my own eyes. I've heard about it. I've heard about things like this many times. And I've seen people post things online, sometimes in the news, just like this. But I've never witnessed something like this myself. Okay? And it's amazing and insanely amazing. She took a picture of the cross around her neck. And the one she sent to our daughter, when you look at the picture, which I posted on my YouTube, this is not just a plug for my YouTube channel, by the way. This is a real thing. I don't want people to think I'm doing this because I'm trying to plug my YouTube channel. I mean, I want to plug my channel. I want you guys to follow me. But that's not why I'm doing this. I wasn't going to share this with you guys. And right before I went on the air, I decided to share it, and I put it up on my YouTube post. I might share it elsewhere later. I don't know. But my wife, she came up to me, she showed me the picture. She says, what do you see? In this picture, you can, and you guys go and look at the picture and share with me what you see. And I have two pictures. The picture that she took that she sent to our daughter, and then one we took yesterday. And it's the same cross, and you can see. In the picture she took on Christmas that she sent to our daughter, I swear to you, you can see Jesus in the cross. And like he's hanging on the cross, like he's nailed to the cross. It's insane. You can see his face, you can see his legs, you can see his arms, and you can clearly see Jesus's face in this cross. And I put that up there, and then I got a picture of the same cross on a table at home right next to it. And it's complete. It's gold, but it's completely flat. Right? There's no angles. There's no nothing. And we tried to replicate the picture because is it the light? No, we could not replicate it. So I'm curious, those of you that see the photo, I'd like to hear from you guys. And I've heard so many. I remember there was a woman in Hollywood. Remember this years ago? She had the Virgin Mary on the side of her house. Remember that? And people would travel from far away, and news cameras from all over the world would go to this lady's house in Hollywood. And sometimes you'll see a picture, someone will show like a burnt piece of toast or a bagel and have Jesus on it. You know, you hear these stories all the time, and I never really thought too much about them. But then I saw this happen, and I was like, wow. I mean, it just blew me away. So those of you that have seen the photo, I'd very much like to hear your thoughts on it. All right. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Connie and Greg. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning.
The latest kind of thing I've seen from that is a lady flying in an airplane, and they were experiencing turbulence, and like they were going through like a really like hectic like rainstorm, like a cloud was like lightning was really bad, like the plane was shaking, so she so like, you know, obviously people were freaking out, and she was like, so she started praying, and she's like, oh, like, Jesus, like, you know, protect this plane, you know, please don't let us crash, blah, blah, blah. And she said she had like something tell her to look out the window and take a picture. And she did, and it looks like Jesus
Really?
on the wing.
Wow.
And
I haven't seen that one. I'll look it up.
When I saw that, I was like, no way.
That's crazy.
Wild. When you said that, I was like, oh. That's the photo from the plane.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Wow. When was that?
It was this year. I just don't remember when. Well, they're saying it was 2012, but I just saw this thing today, or not today, this year. Yeah, they're saying it was from 2012.
Oh, but it's just in the news. Yeah. Maybe they'd put it on social media.
Yeah, finally like got traction.
Mm-hmm.
Not today, but tomorrow.
Okay. Same time, like 8:15 or 8:30. You know.
8:30, yeah.
Okay. Lisa, thank you. The cross is beautiful. Jesus lives. Absolutely. Pineapple platypotamus. Thank you. Thank you. Which of these words are wrong? Good and evil words. I don't know which of those words are wrong. I have no idea. But pineapple platypotamus, thank you. And of course, Lisa, thank you. I'm going to talk about this Grand Central Station stabber coming up. This is insane. So I got the new mic right? How's the new mic, guys? Because I've been using it for 90 minutes. I like it because it's wireless. And it also has noise canceling, so you don't hear the fan. I still have the other mic for backup. Well, thank you, Veritas93, Chuck. Okay, thanks, John. Let me see, how does it... Okay, thanks, John. Yeah. Well, thank you, Josh. I got to do a little bit of recap of what I covered, then I get into some new things.
6 years on the air.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. I want to do a little bit of recap of what I covered in the first hour, which we covered a lot. Okay, Vivek Ramaswamy is about to officially endorse President Trump. His endorsement is imminent, and this is big. It really is big. And just to recap that story, it's got a couple of parts to it. Now, first, when those judges in Colorado came out and said Trump cannot be on their ballot, Ramaswamy immediately came out very publicly and said, if Trump's not on the ballot, I won't either. I won't participate. And, of course, DeSantis said just the opposite. He's, I'm trying to get delegates. It'll be easier for me to get delegates, jerk. And Nikki Haley, I don't know if she commented on it at all. But the update is Ramaswamy, two things have happened other than that. He is the funder of his campaign, okay? He's gotten some small donations, but Vivek Ramaswamy is the largest donor to his own campaign, okay? And he's very wealthy. He's a billionaire. He's not like DeSantis, who depends on handouts from donors that have abandoned him, okay? And Ramaswamy has suspended advertising, television advertising, and any other advertising in both Iowa and New Hampshire. And both those, the New Hampshire primary and Iowa caucus are both next month. Iowa's first, New Hampshire's second. And we're really just 3 weeks out from, less than 3 weeks, I think, from Iowa, and then a month away from New Hampshire. And Vivek Ramaswamy has suspended all advertising for his campaign, all of it. And again, that's his own personal decision because he's paying for it himself. Then Donald Trump said yesterday that Ramaswamy is going to endorse him. So you put all that together, the Vivek Ramaswamy endorsement is imminent. It's just a matter of when. Is it going to be before or after Iowa? And I do know that there's going to, next month, when we move into next month, Trump is going to be in overdrive with speeches, events, and rallies in New Hampshire and Iowa. Okay, so do you think that Ramaswamy will wait for the official endorsement until after Iowa? Will he do it before? If he does it before, that's even better. Will he do it on stage with President Trump, or will he just do it on Twitter? How do you think that's going to play out? The next one to drop out, that's a great thing, and we want the endorsement of Vivek Ramaswamy. That is a valuable endorsement. It's a very valuable endorsement because of how popular Vivek Ramaswamy is with younger people, with the younger voting group. So that is a very, very important endorsement. In fact, I know a lot of people have endorsed President Trump probably since he's been running in this campaign. Vivek Ramaswamy's endorsement of President Trump, it's got to be the most important, biggest endorsement he will have received in this election cycle, wouldn't you think? Yeah, it's a big one. So it's just a question of when. So that's a very good thing. Very excited about that. Another question about that, the second one to drop out will be DeSantis. What will DeSantis do when he drops out? Will he endorse Trump? Will he endorse Nikki Haley or not endorse anyone and come back to Florida and be depressed for 6 months? What's it going to be? It's hard to say with DeSantis. He's not very bright and he makes all the wrong decisions. So whatever he does, I don't think he'll endorse Trump. So I guess really, will he endorse Nikki Haley or endorse no one? A lot of times when these people drop out, they think their endorsements are so valuable. They let people woo them and beg them and plead and try to, get them to give them their endorsement, So he may play that game. I don't know. But the Ramaswamy endorsement is big. And I hope he does it sooner rather than later. And, we're in holiday period for about the next week. Okay, I mean January 2nd, we're in the new year, but the middle of next week will be when people are really kind of like back to normal. Right now, I can even tell when I drive on the road in to the radio station and leave after, the roads aren't as busy, so it's a holiday. That's why most everybody that does jobs like this are on vacation this week, which Steve and I should probably do, but we can't. Just can't get ourselves to take off more than a day or two here and there. But Trump's speeches and rallies are going to be in overdrive once we get through the holiday period. And I hope that Ramaswamy does it early and does it on stage with Trump. And I would, and this is also important for me to say. If he comes out and endorses Trump and joins the campaign in any capacity, and I think he already is working with Trump based on what Trump said on True Social and him canceling his ads, it seems to me that they're already working together. But as soon as he endorses Trump and he's working with the Trump campaign, I'm not going to criticize him. Why should I? If he's working for Trump and helping us save our nation, why should I attack him? So I'm not saying that the things I've said about him I don't believe. I just think there's things that are more important right now. And Ramaswamy can get people that are 18 to 25 to turn out and vote for Donald Trump. I'm going to welcome that. Okay, so I won't be at that point. I won't be critical of Ramaswamy. That would be crazy. It'd be self-defeating. Why would I do that? And I would hope other people don't either, because that would be counterproductive. Because regardless of what his plans are, background, and connections, he would be a much needed helper in getting Trump reelected. We've got to run. President Trump talks about this. We've got to act like we are 40, 50 points behind, not ahead. There's a new poll out. Let me pull this up. I just saw this morning. Let me pull this up. There's a few new polls. There's a new national poll that has Trump 3 points ahead of Biden. There's a new poll out of New Hampshire. Let me pull this one. And this is the one I really wanted to share. There's a new poll out of Arizona, Trump and Biden, 46 to 39. Trump has almost a 7-point lead in Arizona against Biden. Okay, here's the new poll out of New Hampshire. And this one's a real one as opposed to that one they were pushing last week. This is for the Republican primary in New Hampshire. Trump is at 52. Haley is in second place. DeSantis in third. Okay? Nikki Haley is in second place at 22. DeSantis is in third place at 10. So in New Hampshire, Trump has a 30-point lead in the latest poll over Nikki Haley. A 30-point lead but we've still got to run like we're 30 points behind, not ahead. It's very important for a whole bunch of reasons that I don't need to explain to you guys. Okay? And every person who helps us, regardless of their devious intentions and histories, that all needs to be forgotten. Because look at what's coming. This country is under attack. We are being invaded right now at our southern border. We have other problems too, but we're being invaded at our southern border. Our country is on the verge of collapse. And no one but Trump is going to be able to stop that and reverse it. No one. No one. Just not. And if we have a Democrat in the White House, what's going on at the southern border, 15,000, there's been 60,000 over the weekend. Conservative Doug said he heard on Newsmax yesterday over the weekend. That's going to be every weekend for 4 more years. And by the way, there's another year left. So for the next 5 years, that's going to be every weekend. I mean, how many illegals is that over the course of 5 years? What will this country look like with 5 more years of Joe Biden or any Democrat running the country? It won't look like America. Better start learning Spanish and Portuguese. Might want to learn both of them. I'm not going to be able to. I mean, I barely graduated college because you have to take 2 semesters of a foreign language, and it was tough, man. You know how many times I took foreign language in college? Oh my goodness. I signed up and dropped that class before the drop date countless times. If you were to look at my transcripts, I took Spanish, I took French, I took German multiple times, all of them. And I finally got through Spanish. I had a tutor. My wife took a lot of Spanish in high school and college, and she tutored me And those last two, I took the 2 Spanish in my last 2 semesters of college, and I was like, I'm not going to graduate. I said, I got to change my major to something where you don't have to take Spanish. But I couldn't do that. So, but I got through. So I don't have the ability to learn Spanish. I just have a learning disability when it comes to learning foreign language. But the rest of you, if Trump doesn't come back in 2024, this country is done. Done. So, I mean, even Ann Coulter's out there trashing Trump again. I saw her trending on Twitter, trashing Trump again. If Ann Coulter, who's a real terrible person, she really is, if she came out and endorsed Trump, we'd have to support Ann Coulter. It's that important. We have to put aside these other things to get Trump back in 2024. All right, we'll take our last break of the second hour and be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show. Happy holidays.
If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. And everyone, please like the video, guys. It's very important. Now, you're right about Ann Coulter. So disappointed in Ann Coulter. All right. Welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I was listening to the recorded commercial. One of our listeners, Mike, went to see Joe Thomas, Jupiter Joe Thomas. Here he spent 90 minutes with him. See, the reason he did that is because Joe Thomas is going to give you a custom analysis of your situation. Everyone's situation is different, okay? And everyone's needs are different. Some people need more income just to get by. Some people need extra income just to take an extra vacation, you know. But talk to him about annuities. Joe Thomas is offering 2 things completely for free. One, a copy of his book, The Retirement Know-It-All, which I've read. It's an easy read filled with actionable advice for those who are retired or will retire at some point in their life. Okay? He's also offering free phone consultations. And no matter where you're located, you can have a free phone consultation with Joe Thomas. I'm going to give you his number in a moment, but if you miss the number, just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. And at jupiterjoe.com, you can get his number right there and call him, get your free book, and set up your free phone consultation. You know, retirement plans like 401ks, what's the other one? IRAs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. You know, they don't guarantee you an income stream. Annuities guarantee you an income stream for life. You hear that? Income for life. And you're not risking your money. You know, once you're retired, you have what you have. You're not out in the workforce. When you're younger, no one likes to lose money. But when you're younger, you're like, okay, I can work and I can make it back up. When you're retired, that's it. And I was talking to Joe Thomas about this last week when he was in studio. I said, you know, one of the things about the wealthy, they don't touch principal, right? They live off the money that their money makes for them, okay? With annuities, you're not risking your money, but you're going to get guaranteed income for life. Give them a call, 561-743-0999. If you're already retired, he can help you too. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. Or online, JupiterJoe.com. All right, make sure you tell him you heard about him on True Oldies, all right? Okay, did you hear about the Grand Central Station stabber? I mean, this is crazy. Crazy. He stabbed 2 teenage girls on vacation from South America. Were they on vacation or were they illegals? Do people come on vacation from South America? I thought they just came here and retired. But anyway, listen to this. The man who stabbed, New York is insane what's going on there. Yeah, they were from Paraguay. Paraguay. Wow. Who can afford to go on vacation to New York from Paraguay? The man who stabbed 2 teenage girls on vacation from South America at Grand Central's terminal has 17 prior arrests and was just let out of jail 2 weeks before he said, "I want all the white people dead" during his attack. Stephen Hutchinson, age 36, is said to have gotten into an argument with staff who told him he could not sit in a restaurant seating area. The argument led to the attack on the innocent girls who were 16 and 14. They were visiting from Paraguay. You know, this thing where he said, "I want all the white people dead." Okay. What the Democrats have done in the last couple of years to race relations is sick, twisted, dangerous, and a disgrace. It started with this critical race theory. You know, Black Lives Matter and these critical race theory con artists, you know what they call critical race theory people, promoters on MSNBC? You know what they call them, Joy Reid? Critical race theorist, like it's a science. It's nonsense. It's a con, is what it is. It's a con job. They're con men. And what they've done with BLM and critical race theory that they've injected into our lives is they have justified anti-white racism. Does that make sense? They've justified anti-white racism. Minorities feel justified in their anger towards white people just for being white. Look at this new movie on Netflix. I played some audio a couple weeks ago. Barack and Michelle Obama produced a movie for Netflix that's one of the most racist movies made, maybe the most racist movie made, with a presidential connection since Birth of a Nation. And Birth of a Nation, like with this new Netflix movie with the Democrats, the presidential connections to it are both Democrats. And in this new movie that they have on Netflix, the Obamas, which they produced, so they okayed the script and everything. There's a black family and a white family in it, and the black. I played the audio on the show a couple weeks ago. The black family said there's nothing more frightening than white people. And there's other racist things in that movie that I've heard since. I haven't watched. I'm not going to watch anything the Obamas are producing. But they've justified. It's just like those college professors that were talking about genocide against Jews was acceptable, to them. As long as you don't do it. Well, at what point are you doing it, right? Before the Nazis had concentration camps and ovens and all that, were they doing it or were they just speaking it, Gay, the president over there at Harvard? At what point are you actually doing it? When would she intervene? But this anti-white racism is acceptable now in liberal black circles, and that's insane, and it's also frightening. And what they've done to our culture in the last few years, and this is all Obama. You know, it came out. You know, this racist anti-Semite that runs Harvard. Her job was saved by Barack Obama. They were going to get rid of her. After all this happened, he made a call and he kept her. There's more plagiarism out. There's some research paper where she wouldn't share the research with anybody. All these things came out. They don't care, see, because it's about an agenda. And when we were talking about Harvard, when this first happened a couple weeks ago, I told you, I said, this is not some regular. If this were my college, Florida Atlantic University, it'd be bad. But who graduates from Florida Atlantic University? Me, Byron Donald's wife. Carrot Top, the comedian, went to Florida Atlantic University. There's one adult film actress who went there. But Harvard, it's a good school. I'm a proud graduate of Florida Atlantic University, but it's not Harvard. Harvard are where the presidents go, Supreme Court justices go, senators, House members go, the masters of industry. Those at the upper levels of our leadership at this country, they go to Harvard. They go to these places. And they have this anti-Semitic racist woman running it. They don't care about the plagiarism. If she confessed to it, they wouldn't fire her. If she says, you're right, I copied and pasted, it's all plagiarized, they'd still keep her there because there's an agenda. They want to be able to shape the minds of the future leaders of not just the United States, but all the major Western countries. Their leaders go through Harvard and these other Ivy Leagues. They just want to shape the minds of the future leaders. They don't care that she's a plagiarist. They're not happy it's in the news, but they're annoyed that people are reporting it, not that she did it. Because they've got a bigger picture. It's their agenda. And if she's forced out because there's a lot more pressure, they'll just plug somebody else that's in. But this back to this stabber at Grand Central Station. When he says he wants all white people dead, that's viewed in liberal circles as acceptable. And white people deserve it. That's how much brainwashing has been going on since Obama was president. All right. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian, and thanks for taking my call. This is Barbara in Baltimore.
Hey, Barbara.
I'm so glad you're talking about this because everything that you are saying is true. I'm a bit older than you, and this has been going on for a while, but Barack Obama absolutely almost solidified it as being okay when he started it. And
well, him when it came out over the weekend that he stepped in and saved this Harvard president, it was a confirmation of everything that we're dealing with. He's the leader of it.
He is. He absolutely is. I have no doubt about that. But these, I guess, steps backward into segregation and the racism and the reverse racism is how I see it and how I've seen it for a long time. That's why I've known from the time that I heard Barack Obama speak, I knew he was dangerous because I picked up on the dog whistle words that a lot of people did not.
Well, look at what's happening. You know, Benny Johnson, who's a conservative guy, he did a video online about CNN. He says it's diversity means no white people. Turn on a panel discussion on CNN. There's no white straight people there. That's diverse.
Well, they've almost made it like it's supposed to be normal. Like,
correct.
Normal. It is not normal. But this is what they've done. They've had a generation to do it. Barack Obama started in 2007.
That's right. Listen, we're up against the break, Barbara. But I appreciate your call and appreciate everything that you said. All right, take care. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be back with more calls after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Rope Studio. Injured recently? Call the Ropes Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-5 570-5700. Rose, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. On this Wednesday, hope you're doing well. One of the nicer days that we're going to see going forward for a while. A high of 75 degrees, mostly sunny skies. Tonight, diving down into the 50s, and then tomorrow, widespread rains and a high only in the upper 60s. On WPBF 25 First Warning, meteorologist Sandra Shaw. Weather brought to you by Palm Beach. One Seminole Plaza Shops. Palm Beach. Voted in the best of the best values. Palm Beach.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Cold Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed. Print it out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor can order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care and visit any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Cold Springs. There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. Don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. Here is your true oldies ABC News Update.
I'm Richard Q2. Secretaries of State and Homeland Security Mexico City today, prodding that nation to do more to stop the flow of migrants.
Yeah, I was just reading the comments that some of you have left on the cross picture in the community section. I mean, that's just amazing. That just blew my mind. It really did. I've never experienced something like that. Only heard about it. It's amazing.
My daughter gets a cold. I have a secret weapon. Dayquil Kids Berry Mix. Dayquil Kids is specially formulated to bother some cold and cough symptoms quickly. The best part is that Dayquil Kids Berry tastes really great. Aren't you supposed to be resting? Maybe.
All right. Hour number 3 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Steve joining us. Hey, Steve. Well, I'll tell you, I just want to put something in perspective here, just to kind of illustrate something. And then there's something I don't know if I should share on the air that I might share. Well, I'll get to that in a minute, but let me just illustrate this, okay? Over the weekend, Doug called in, conservative Doug, who was with us at Wings Plus a week and a half ago. It was good to see Doug again. He was very popular, and he wanted to buy me a beer, but I said I can't drink beer. It's 4 in the afternoon on Sunday. I got to get up in the morning, so I went and got me a big old Coca-Cola, which was very nice. Thank you very much, Doug, for that drink. Conservative Doug heard on Newsmax that over the weekend, 60,000 illegals crossed the border into the United States over the weekend. There's a caravan that is 8,000 strong now that is expected to be 15,000. Yesterday on the air it was 6,000. Now it's 8. When it started it was 5. It's expected to be 15,000 by the time it reaches Texas and they enter this country illegally. 15,000 on top of the 60,000 that came in over last weekend. And just to illustrate this, I go back to this a lot because I think it illustrates that this is not migration, this is not immigration, this is an invasion. There are a few events in American history that are part of our culture that everyone knows about, and one of them, of course, are the great heroes of the Alamo. Davy Crockett, Colonel Travis. Who else was at the Alamo? Steve, you were in this. You were back there. Yeah, you know the song. Yeah. Jim Bowie. Jim Bowie was there. All the big celebrities of the day. Well, now I regret bringing it up, but that's right. I can't sing. Believe me, you do not want to hear me sing. But this group will be 15,000 strong when it enters Texas. 60,000 entered Texas over the weekend. The Mexican army that attacked the Alamo was not 60,000 strong or 15,000 strong. The Mexican army that attacked the Alamo had 1,800 in it. 1,800 in the Mexican army that attacked the Alamo. I mean, they got more people handing out bottled water in this group than that. I mean, it's just to put in perspective, more than 20 times that. So if this is not an invasion, I don't know what is. And I'm really, today when I was driving in, Steve, and I was listening to the news, and I was listening to reporters that were down there covering it, and they sound scared. And it made me scared. And when you have this many people coming into your country unregulated at once and not assimilating, we're going to lose our country. And the
Beyond that, we may have already lost the country.
It's still savable.
Dealing with that.
It's still savable.
How? Well, we don't know that. Everybody ducks. They do all these great visual shots of the throngs, pouring across the border. But the one thing they don't deal with is it going to be at a certain point possible to deport that many people?
It's going to have to be done. And
we say that, but can it be done?
Well,
reach a point where it becomes so overweighted with people from foreign countries that we just can't make.
Well, some of the things you have to do, Steve, is you've got to make it impossible for them to live in this country, which means, one, you cut off their Obama phones. They all get cell phones. You cut off their EBT cards because they get EBT cards. Okay. You cut off their Section 8 housing. You make it impossible for their children to go to school. You bring in massive fines for those who employ them. You got to do that on top of the deportations. You've got to make it impossible for them to earn money here, too, on top of it. And you got to do it not just you got to enforce these things.
Pointing out is that it's never happened, to the best of my knowledge. I stand to be contradicted on this, but to the best of my knowledge, it's never been done. Deportations of this magnitude, I don't think it's ever.
Well, once before, and it's a terrible comparison, but when they deported the Jews in Europe to the camps would be the closest, and that's and sadly, if Trump comes in and does a mass deportation, which he says he's going to do, that's what the media and the left will be telling us and showing us. I want to play this clip. I played this earlier in the show, but I wanted to play this for you too. This is AOC talking about the invasion at the southern border that's going on. She just put this up yesterday on TikTok. Oh, let me turn it up and then I'll play it. But this is the mindset of the Democrat Party.
So often people want to say, why are you talking about the border crisis? Or why are you talking about it in this way? Well, we're talking about it. They just don't like how we're talking about it. Because it's not a border crisis. It's an imperialism crisis. It's a climate crisis. It's a trade crisis. This is not a surge. These are children. And they are not insurgents. And we are not being invaded. Which, by the way, is a white supremacist idea, philosophy.
Yeah, and being invaded, only white people, white supremacists feel that their countries are invaded. Really? There have been no other countries in the world who have felt invaded that were not white? Yeah, that's not white. Yeah, that's not white supremacist, that's for sure. Are there white people in Chicago anymore? Not the ones I see in the news. Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. I mean, Steve, yeah.
At which it's unfixable.
Well, you're saying that to deport, yeah,
happened on this scale before, and so by definition, we can't really know we can do it when it's never been done on this kind of humongous scale.
Well, some of it has to do with South America. Right now, you may have heard this in the news. The Mexican southern border is completely open right now, right? That's new. Historically, Mexico has, with the military, fortified their southern border. Yeah, they have. They've let people up, but now they've completely opened it because we're being attacked here. And this is not, everyone keeps talking about the cartels. It's China working with the cartels doing this. This is, this attack on America that's taking place with this southern border invasion is really brilliant if you think about it by China. The Soviets in the Cold War, all they did was get some Black Panthers and some college kids working for them.
I mean, it's not really very complex, and it's sometimes a banana is just a banana. I mean, what you see is what you get on this. I mean, they've done it. It's done.
Well, with China, yeah. Oh, you're thinking it's irreversible. Yeah.
Being generated to unsavory people, and who knows who has it at the upper levels, who has a piece of this action. But whoever they are, they have the power to keep the status quo going.
Well, China's goal is to be the number one power in the world. To do that, they have to bring us down. And this invasion at the southern border is part of China's effort to become number one in the world, the only superpower.
And you can approach it from that point of view, but the question is, who is China in bed with?
The cartels. And
I suggest there are other.
Oh, you mean like Biden and stuff? Yeah, absolutely.
If you just go by all the other businesses, that are existing in this travesty, I mean, I would say the president has his hands to the.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk a minute about Dr. Gupta before we break. Okay, Dr. Gupta is the Steve Kane Show resident dentist. And he's been a listener of the Steve Kane Show since the 80s. So when you go to see Dr. Gupta, okay, it's going to be like this is your brother or your cousin or your uncle, because you're going to have a common bond. You're going to know the show. You're going to know, you're going to both know Steve and me and all the wackadoodle callers and history of the show and everything. So it'll be like you're meeting with a member of the family when you go see Dr. Gupta. That's number one, and that's very important. And I know you guys have heard the commercial with Richie. Richie drives about 140 miles each way to see Dr. Gupta. And he does that for a couple of reasons. Dr. Gupta is a top dentist, okay? But his prices are, they're like out of the 90s and early 2000s. His prices are very low, very affordable. And he does all types of dental work, from the first time you got to take your little one to the dentist until you need dentures, okay, and everything in between. He does it all, and at prices that you can afford. I'm going to give you his number, and you can give him a call. And make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. All right, we'll take our break and be right back.
On the sidelines, get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. On the air, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richie called in today, Sky King.
FM, Fort Lauderdale on 99 FM, and anywhere in the world.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve is here. Our number, toll free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. So this thing at the southern border, Steve, you know, yeah.
I wanted to point out something, and it slipped my mind. I'm getting more like Joe Biden every day. What the heck was it?
My raise.
Well, that's what it was. No wonder I blocked it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you're paying short shrift to the situation with Dr. Gay at Harvard. I wouldn't assume it's over. I think she's, what do they say, dead man walking up? It's catching up with her, and I think they're going to throw her out. Dr. Gay. I mean, give me a break. Sounds like a James Bond film villain, doesn't it?
Well, no, hold on. First off, if they get rid of her, they'll just plug in somebody else just as bad, if not worse. But over the weekend, they were about to let her go, and Obama personally intervened and saved her. So, yeah.
But the uprising is still going on. I mean, they really awakened the...
Every day there's a new plagiarism. And now she did some research project. She never shared the research with anyone. No one ever saw. They don't care.
Well, they care when enough funds get...
No, they don't. Listen, I'm telling you, Steve, Harvard is probably being funded by Iran right now. Okay, it's no longer being funded by the regular alumni that have been funding it for centuries. No, when it comes to Harvard, I'm watching it. Well, because you were being one, but in this instance, you're just in denial, not doom and gloom. You're just in denial about what's going on.
Dr. Gay is still going to be there.
No. I mean, she may not be there in 5 days, but they'll just plug in somebody at least as equally as bad as her. Maybe even worse.
Okay.
I mean, Harvard's lost. We've lost Harvard. Well, it's not that I don't want to be. It's not that I want to be cheered up, Steve. I don't want to live in denial and convince myself of things that aren't true.
I think things. I've read enough about this that I'm starting to think that there was some permanent changes that have been...
Now, just a quick mention. Just a quick mention, unrelated to all this. Okay, you may have seen the star of this movie Parasite died, young guy. That's a really good movie. Parasite. The guy that starred in Parasite died. Okay, or something. I'm reading the story. Parasite is a really good movie. It's Korean, so you got to read subtitles, but it's very, very good. Very good. Parasite, if you watch, I love Korean movies and TV shows.
I have a movie relationship with my older generation kids because I trained them when they were young. But my oldest daughter, who's the real movie buff, suggested a movie called... I'm forgetting everything today. Gee whiz. The Steel Claw.
Never heard of it.
Steel Claw. It's a wrestling movie.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it stars Zac Efron. About that wrestling family. What's the name of that wrestling? I want to see that. Is that out already? What's the name of that wrestling family? Yes.
She said it's sensational.
I remember that family. I was really big into wrestling when I was a kid. What is the name of the family? It's the Zac Efron movie. I've seen the trailer. It looks amazing. I can't remember. But back to the issues at hand. See, the thing at the southern border, President Trump in his second term, he's only got 4 years. He's not going to be able to fix everything, okay, in his 4 years. And, he's going to have a couple of problems with the southern border. I think he'll get the wall done because, one thing, when President Trump, when he comes back, he's not going to care about getting reelected because he can't run again. And he's got limited time. So he's just going to declare a state of emergency, get the wall done. He'll do what he did last time with Latin America and get them to cooperate. But so far as the millions that are here, now keep in mind, since Biden has been president, 4.6 million illegals have entered the United States each year. 4.6 million. That does not include the babies inside the wombs. Yeah, that doesn't include the babies inside the wombs. And it doesn't include the babies the illegals have when they get pregnant after they get here. So that surpasses our birth rate. 4.6 million a year illegals since Biden's been president. The birth rate is about 3.6 million. And the death rate in America is 3.4. So because they got all this gender confusion, childbearing age people aren't having that kind of sex like they used to. So the birth rate is down, and they're coming here greater than our birth rate. Okay? So to just say, you're right about this, okay? To just say, well, he's going to deport everybody. I think they said that the illegals that have come here are greater than the population of New Jersey, and that's probably conservative. It's a deportation effort that is so large, forgetting about the impossibility of it, but the, because that's something to overcome. But the scale of it, the media and the Democrats, what they would do with that, we've never seen anything like it, okay? They would be filming every bit of it. Everybody ripped out of every house, everything else. It would be, it's going to be very difficult to deport tens of millions of illegals, even for Trump. Well, how do you do it? How do you know who's illegal or not? And and the bureaucracy is filled with so many Democrats that aren't going to be cooperative, that'll slow walk everything. You got that factor going in. Trump has a lot to do, and his second term. I was talking to a caller about this earlier. One of the most important things in his second term is to pick his successor who can continue this, and we really don't have a successor for 2028. Richie called in the first hour and saw something I had not seen. He saw something in the news with the illegals traveling here, that there's travel agencies that are specializing in just bringing illegals into the United States. And that's why we have so many coming in from like different countries around the world going to Mexico. They're a global travel. It's become big business. Yeah. Illegal immigration in the United States is a major industry. Travel agents.
Oh, the non-government, the ones that put up all the private money.
I don't know. The George, NGO. They got a name, something like that. Yeah, non-government something, NGOs. I don't know all that government lingo. We're in the private sector, but we got to take our break for the bottom of the hour. Let me give out the number: 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Oh, someone, our friend Ed Pizwali from Tavolino's texted me. He said Parasite is a fundamentally Marxist message that was slickly produced. It promoted violence of the so-called exploited. Yeah, that he's right about all that. They don't like homeless people in Asian culture. So yeah, it was. Let's see here. He says some other things I'm not going to share, but he's right. It's a Marxist message, but it's still a good movie. You just got to look beyond. If you don't watch movies that aren't left-wing or Marxist, you're not going to have too many movies to watch, right? Because they're all left-wing and Marxist and everything else. You got to block all that out and escape. All right, listen, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is our number. 1-888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane's here. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning.
One Korean movie that I love was Train to Busan.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's a zombie movie, but it's such a good
Oh, I know which one that is. Yeah, I saw that I haven't seen it, but I know
I recommend it like 1,000.
Yeah, there's some good Korean movies.
They know how to make movies.
They do. They make good movies.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. BBC show tickets and dining certificates make great holiday gifts. 2024, the Paddock has a full line of fun events, including Sarge, January 12th, Anthony Rodia in February, Adam Carolla in March, and Pauly Shore in April. Our fabulous dinner shows include Yellow Brick Road, a tribute to Elton John, Portrait of Aretha, Chris McDonald's Valentine's Day dinner, So Good, the Neil Diamond Experience, and Patty Mix. For a full schedule and tickets, go to ppkennelclub.com, and happy holidays from PBKC.
Roman's own security system and free doorbell camera with professional installation is free. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera. You doorbell camera. Call now 833-283-5050. Slomans will give you a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with the installation of your Sloman Shield. And wait a minute, that's not all. Slomans is going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, 10 contacts, backup battery, and service plan. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME and you'll get a free doorbell camera with installation of your Sloman Shield. Sloman's Home Security, the ultimate in home security. Call 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. Shield your home. Sloman Shield.
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa, and my husband and I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day, the buy one get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so glad. I got slippers on the way too.
Go to mypillow.com and use our promo code Kane to check out KANE and buy your My Pillow 2.0. Right now, buy one get one free. You can also order by phone, toll free. 716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane. Brian Craig here with a question for seniors and those who care about it. How would you like to have instant access to a healthcare app at the touch of a button? That make life easier. I will advocates. Set up doctor's appointments, help with your pharmacy, even deal with your pharmacist to make sure that you have your prescriptions. They'll help you find a doctor. Specialist, if you've been billed properly by a doctor's office or a hospital, they can help you too. Either the hospital to make sure you get the care you deserve. Just the beginning. Advocates takes care of all Steve Kane's healthcare issues too. They can do the same for you. I Will Advocate clients are family, and they do that for their family. Just to call Debbie and I Will Advocates right now. Toll free. 1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275-2326.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. Steve is here. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Hello, Ivy and Broward. Hey, Steve. How are you?
Hey, Ivy. Good.
Did you have turkey or ham for Christmas?
Both.
I thought Jews weren't supposed to eat ham, Steve. What's that about?
Oh, every once in a while.
My mom used to do it.
I mean, celebrating Christmas and eating ham. You sure you're a Jew, Steve?
My mom used to do the same thing. We always had the sweet ham with the pineapple on it. The honey sweet ham with the pineapple. Anyway, three things motivated me to call in reverse. That Brian said that actual Iran is infiltrate our higher learning. Is Harvard? Are you serious?
Well, someone is funding it that thinks genocide against Jews is acceptable for the leadership of the college.
So in reverse, and we could have Iran having their ideals taught in our colleges and Palestinians running off their mouths in our Congress. Man, that's not good. Was Iran triggered me also to think of Barack dropping the pallet of money back when he was in power, and I'm wondering how much kickback did he get, because he built over 200. He built over 200.
You can take that to the back.
Yeah, lifetime commission, lifetime income.
So here's something. If it's climate change is causing all these issues, then why did he build over $200 million house in Hawaii, right on the beach? And he also has one here in America. If the sea levels are rising, why invest $200 million? Where did he get it? Now, this guy also said that he's going to be sitting in one day in his underwear running the show. I think that has come true.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering how many. If we can do a breakdown, I wonder how many Indonesians, how many Syrians, how many Iranians is coming through that border. I would like to know that number.
A lot. I mean, I keep hearing every day. I see a story of more people on the terror watch list found at the southern border. So how many are getting through that they're not catching that are on the terror watch list?
Hey Democrats, a lot of you guys wore the Brock T-shirts. Remember that? Hope and change. But you didn't wear the one that said, I'm going to fundamentally change this country. Are you having buyer's remorse now? Or you going to wait to get slapped in the face? Put some other people in power that's not going to drag us down. I'm going to say this again. We have a lot of holes in the ship. We need all hands on deck.
Mm-hmm.
We need everyone.
All right, IB, appreciate the call. You know, Melania is getting involved in the campaign, and she's been absent for a while. And she's getting involved in the campaign, and she already started. Was it last week or the week before? She swore in and all those new U.S. citizens, legal U.S. immigrants. She was at because she's an immigrant. The country she's from is Slovenia, and I was watching The Amazing Race this season, which I like. I like The Amazing Race, guys. I don't know if you guys watch it. They spent a few episodes in Slovenia. Oh my goodness. In Slovenia, Melania is average looking. That's like the most beautiful women in the world are in Slovenia. And it's a beautiful country. But no, she's actively working on the campaign trail. And I think based on her being at that ceremony, the citizenship ceremony for the new U.S. citizens that were legal immigrants, I think that's going to be her tack, because she's an immigrant. She did it legally. When she was here, it's pretty clever.
Romance.
Yeah.
What a great story that is behind the scenes. Trials and tribulations.
Oh, Melania.
To Donald, mixed blessing. Lori was talking to me about this a little bit.
Really, a mixed blessing? I don't know.
I'm sure it has its trials. Donald is very high power and very intense.
Well,
intense. Nothing like Donald Trump.
Well, if Melania is taking this thing that she's going to be involved in the immigration thing, that's a real winner. That's perfect. That's like the perfect thing for her to make her thing is legal immigration. Well, when she was here on at least one occasion, if not two, before she was married to Donald Trump and before she was a citizen, she had to go back to Slovenia at least once, if not twice, because her visa expired. She went back, she got it, she came back. She did everything legally every step of the way. She never violated U.S. immigration law. She wasn't even involved in politics. She was just a model then, and so she's got a great story. And the biggest problem we have is this entire, this interview they're playing with this one guy who's demanding that Biden lets him in. Have you seen this on TV? It's ridiculous. I demand that Biden let us in, And I was like, he doesn't even think there's anything wrong with it. That's the way it is. Now, I was reluctant. I probably shouldn't share this, Steve, but I'm going to share it, and it's probably a mistake, but I'm going to share it. Over the years, Steve and I have had, mostly me more than Steve, because I'm more accessible than you are, Steve. But we've had stalkers over the years. And I have stalkers now, and I've had many throughout the years. And having stalkers, it's not fun. And since COVID, 3 of my stalkers have died, and since COVID. Okay, and I don't start guessing, Steve, because I don't want to say their names. Of the 3 that have died, of 2 of them. And these are not my only stalkers, but anytime you do anything that's like this, you have people, I don't want, and Steve and I have had things happen over the years, and I've had other stalkers, but there was one. I had this confirmed when we did our event at Wings Plus. There was one particular stalker that passed away due to COVID. And I just got confirmation at Wings Plus that they passed away. And we have not, over the years, we don't do a lot of personal appearances. And one of the reasons is this one particular stalker that I got confirmation that died from COVID when we were at Wings Plus, because some of these guys are, and this is the part is not probably nice to say, and I probably shouldn't share. But when you have stalkers, and I still have some, these aren't the only ones, but when you have stalkers, it's scary sometimes, and it's very uncomfortable, and it's bad. It's just bad. But this one in particular that I got the confirmation of that he passed, he was one of the worst. And you'll know. I'll tell you after the show, Steve, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. He was one of the worst I've ever had. And this is the part I probably shouldn't share. And I'm dragging it out because I don't really, I'm in it now. It's like a sense of relief when I found out that this one person had passed. And that's such a terrible thing to say or feel. But this particular person had, over the years, had caused me and my family trouble that I'm not going to share with you on the air so bad. And, yeah, you know who I'm talking about. I mean, some really just terrible things have happened with my family and me and my daughter and my wife in particular because of this one particular stalker. And there were personal appearances that I did not do that I taught you how to doing because of this one particular person. And it's just when you're the longest running radio show, you outlive some of the people in the audience. And even the stalkers, and I don't know. It's just, I probably shouldn't even share that. I don't even know why I did, but it's a weird thing, and you know who I'm talking about probably with that one. Yeah, and that was just like, I was a little not really before we did the thing for Wings Plus, I was looking for him when I'm always looking for him when we do anything, and I was looking for them, and then I found out what happened, and it was like, oh, you know what they've done to me, and it's just the thing I don't get about like these stalkers that we've had, or me in particular, is they're grown adult men. They're not like children. When there's children, like when I mean children, I mean like younger people, like in their 20s and 30s. These are people that are like 50 and above. And it's just always just blown me away that grown men that are the 50 and above, sometimes well above, are like this. You know what I mean? And it's just, I guess what I'm saying is I feel more free to do personal appearances, I guess, than we've done in the past. So, but it just, whatever. Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. All right, well, we just did one at Wings Plus, so we got to wait a little while to do another one. And we're coming into a new year. We do have a couple things planned next year, which we'll tell you about later. I don't want to tell you about now. But and also, Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot called in. There are a couple of cabins have opened up on our cruise ship. So if you want to join us on the cruise ship, on our cruise in April, now's the time to do it, because he called in the 7 o'clock hour. Those cabins may already be filled. So call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. All right, we're going to take our last break of the day. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on the...
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report as we wind down the year in just a few short days. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking today? Is there something I'm doing wrong here, Mike? Hold on. Let me try it again. William Youngerman, you're on the air. No, we lost him. We have to try to get him back. Okay, we got to vamp, Steve. We lost William Youngerman. So we'll have to vamp, and then we'll get back to we'll get the gold report. Yeah. See, that's what I get for sharing what happened. See, that's what happens now. Yeah.
Bull market.
Well, we have him back. All right, here we go. All right, we'll check in from the we'll do the introduction again. From the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca, we'll check in with William Youngerman as the year is winding down. William Youngerman, how the metals looking today?
Metal's looking good, very stable, nicely above the $2,000 number for gold and $24 for silver. Gold yesterday closing up $15.20 to $2,068, heading back towards that $2,100 number. Silver up 6 cents yesterday, closing at $24.25 the ounce. Platinum was up $8 at $9.82, and palladium closed down $9 at $11.81. This morning we got gold basically almost unchanged right now at $2,067. That's down a dollar. Silver down 20 cents at $24.05 the ounce. Platinum down $10 at $9.72, and palladium down $19 at $11.62. So,
yeah.
And the dollar is weaker.
I mean, this is the time to get gold. Are the Australian kangaroos still the best buy when it comes to 1 ounce gold coins?
They really are. They really are. They're encapsulated pure gold 999 fine coins that are one of the best values in gold.
And they're beautiful. I mean, they're pure gold. They're very shiny too. And when you have an ounce of gold in your hand, you can feel it. I mean, it's not paper. It's an ounce of gold, and it feels good, and it's worth money. And in fact, gold, I imagine gold has got to be the oldest form of money that's in existence on the planet, 5,000 years, and still going up all the time. So get on board. William Youngerman open regular hours this week at 10 a.m. You can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, directly across from the bank. Online at williamyoungerman.com, where you can find the number and the address, or you can also call. And remember, you can do all your business with William Youngerman over the phone. If you can't make it in, even if you're in town and you can't make it in, maybe you're in the Treasure Coast, maybe you're in Miami, maybe you're just busy and you just can't make it in. You can do your transactions over the phone as well. 1-800 or anywhere in the world as well, not just local. 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow. Back after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the...
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. Steve is here. So, I'm thinking, in this Trump second term, which we can't get overconfident. I was talking earlier, Steve. Trump said in one of his recent speeches, we got to have the attitude that we're 30 points behind, not ahead, because that depresses our turnout. And, so we need to act as if we're 30 points behind, not 30 points ahead. But in all the latest polls, Trump's ahead of everybody by far, including Nikki Haley in New Hampshire, that he's like 30 points ahead of her in the latest poll out of New Hampshire. Okay. So, but you can't let that those poll numbers. See, this is an important thing because next month is New Hampshire and Iowa. I was first in the middle of the month, and towards the end, we've got New Hampshire. Yeah. But what typically happens, and you got to be prepared for this, okay, because this is what the media and these never-Trumpers are waiting for. What typically happens in these primaries, when the results come in, things are most often closer than the polls indicated. So what I mean by that is Nikki Haley's in second place, 30 points behind Trump in New Hampshire. She's still going to come in second place, but she may be within 15 points or something. You know what I mean? So because things get closer on the day of the vote as opposed to the polls for whatever reason, historically that's what happens. So when she loses by 15 points or 20 points or 10 points, these are landslide victories for Trump. But the media are going to handle it as if she's got momentum. She's doing well. She outperformed, you know, and they're going to start boosting her up big time, big time, big time. Now, I was talking at the beginning of the show, Vivek Ramaswamy is on the verge of endorsing Donald Trump. He suspended all advertising in the primary states. Donald Trump posted on Truth that Vivek is going to endorse him. So that tells me there's already communication going on. They're already working together, maybe through somebody in between, but the Vivek Ramaswamy endorsement of Trump is coming, and it's coming soon. The second person, and when it's also important to point out, he suspended all advertising, and I went in New Hampshire, Ramaswamy, and he is funding his own campaign. Okay, his publicity on television is far beyond what he deserves based on his polling numbers. He's polling at like 5 points, 4 points, depending on the state, depending on the poll. But he's a billionaire and he's funding his own campaign. So he's making the personal decision not to run ads. It's not like Ron DeSantis, whose donations have dried up. He's not rich. He can't afford to fund his own campaign like Ramaswamy can. So Ramaswamy is on the verge of officially endorsing Donald Trump, which is huge because of his immense popularity among young people, college and high school kids. And a lot of high school kids will be 18 in November, okay? So they can vote. So that's huge. The second person to drop out, let me ask you, this is what I want to ask you, Steve. And if anybody's got any thoughts on this one, I'd like to hear them at 1-888-GO-KANE1. The second person to drop out is going to be Ron DeSantis, right? He's got nothing. I mean, you know, all of his backers have left him. They've all gone to Nikki Haley. When Ron DeSantis drops out, Steve, what's he going to do? Is he going to endorse Trump? Is he going to endorse Nikki Haley or endorse no one?
Smart thing to do, the smart choice in that situation, and count on
DeSantis
to do the opposite.
Well, the smart thing to do is to do a Johnny Fontaine. Go to Donald Trump, President Trump, beg for forgiveness, kiss his ring, cry on your knees, and then come out and endorse him proudly. That's the smart thing to do. Okay?
But he's not going to do that.
No. I think that he may not endorse anyone. Yeah, he may not endorse anyone because Nikki Haley may not want him around. He's a boob. This new interview he did in this bizarre chair. He looks so stupid, Steve. You know what it would be like? It would be, you know, like when your kids were in elementary school, all the furniture was little. It's like that. It's like he's sitting in a chair for a child, and he's bunched up in it, and they put the microphone in front of him, where it's too high. No one who has good judgment would have sat in that chair and let people take pictures or video and did an interview. It was said, no, you know, give me a real chair, okay? I'm not going to look like an idiot. So I don't think Nikki Haley really wants his endorsement because he's so damaged, right? I mean, you know, what benefit is it to her to have him? So my guess would be that he will come back. He'll have a lot of depression. He'll probably take him a few weeks to get over it. I mean, this is the first rejection he's ever experienced in his life. Okay, he's always had everything paid. He went to the Ivy Leagues. DeSantis was in the Little League World Series, which is like being an Eagle Scout. That's a big deal. He was captain of the Yale baseball team. He was a naval officer. You know the whole story. He won every election he's been in. You know, been reelected as governor in a big state. This is the first. He's never even had a girl break up with him. This is the first rejection he's ever faced in his life, and at that age, he's going to take it hard. You can tell. I mean, he's already fallen apart. You know, there was a video of him over the weekend eating. Did you see this one? Oh my! I hate everything these things up because it sounds like I'm being petty. I'm not. What I'm pointing out are things that he has done that are just stupid that professional campaigners don't do. He's somewhere on the campaign trail in a restaurant, and he's stuffing in his face lunch meat in huge handfuls of it. He's talking while he's got food in his mouth, and before he's even swallowed what's in his mouth, he's still talking, he's shoving more in his mouth. And it was just, not only was it gross, it it looked bad. I'm on, I do my YouTube channel. I'm on YouTube and stuff every day, all the time, for years. You don't see me eat, okay, on YouTube. If I'm doing something and I got to eat, I turn the camera away. I don't eat on camera, okay? I didn't even eat. I took my food from Wings Plus at home. I didn't even eat there. You don't want pictures and video of yourself eating. It's never a pleasant sight, unless it's Melania, who looks good no matter what she's doing, okay? She could stuff the food in her mouth and it'd be hot. But not DeSantis. And you look at what he's done, this thing with the food. Have you seen the video, Steve? Oh, it's he's cracking up. And this interview I was talking about in the chair, that's too small and he's bunched up and the microphone's too high. He looks. I saw it on Twitter and someone wrote, "Oh, Ron forgot his booster seat," and it's pretty funny. Yeah, I didn't come up with that. Somebody wrote that on Twitter. I wish I'd have thought of that. And what's happened with Ron DeSantis is the worst thing that can happen to a politician, an elected official. Become an object of ridicule. From you, I think, Steve. Yes, but no, when you become now they say when you become a meme, but when you become a punchline, when you become an object of ridicule, where people are laughing at you and you're acting like he's doing, it's over for you. And politicians who have gone that route, become an object of ridicule, they never return. Remember John Dean with the yell? Remember that when he was running for president? It happened to Al Gore. The one that everyone talks about is Dukakis in the tank. But any politician who's run for president, who's become, even in the primaries, who's become an object of ridicule, has faded away. Now he's got 3 years left as governor, but what he's going to find out, Ron DeSantis, as well, he's going to come home and be depressed, and then he's going to go out and try to be out in Florida. He's going to find out something. I don't think because Ron DeSantis is the most hated man in the state of Florida. This is a Donald Trump MAGA. The president's right down the street right now at Mar-a-Lago. They're home for Christmas and New Year's. I went over to Mar-a-Lago on Friday after the show, and the Secret Service came after me. If you guys are watching me on YouTube, you got to see it. But this is Trump country, and I think he's been out of Florida all year running for president. He doesn't realize how hated he is in Florida, and everywhere he goes, people are going to be booing him and calling him traitor. And he's not aware of this yet. And when that happens to him, he's just going to become completely unglued. I mean, I feel bad almost for Ron DeSantis, because he's just not aware of his situation. Real quick, I want to tell you guys, the MyPillow down comforters. Steve, I love down comforters. Do you like down comforters? You know what's cool about down comforters? They keep you warm in the winter and cool during the summer, and they're very comfortable. The MyPillow down comforters with our promo code Kane at checkout, KANE, are 60% off. 60% off, and they come with a 10-year warranty, and they come in every mattress size too. So go to mypillow.com, order your down comforter 60% off with the promo code Kane at checkout, KANE. All right. Well, guys, that's all the time we have for today. We'll be back tomorrow. And this has been really the biggest Christmas, New Year's time of news that I can remember. Usually news is dead the week of Christmas and New Year's, the weeks before and everything else. This is the biggest news times I can ever remember during the holiday season. But we'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the air since 1977. Celebrating 46 years on the radio until Monday, when that will change to 47 years on the radio starting on Monday. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, has been here. Thanks for tuning in. God bless America, and, of course, God bless the greatest president ever, Donald Trump. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3.
All right, guys. Hey, listen, make sure you subscribe and like the video before you go. All right. And if you have not, check out the podcast from last night, which is the video before this one on the channel. It's the one about with the Moms for Liberty in the thumbnail. We had our first podcast after Christmas, my wife and I, last night. Check it out.